Alright guys, welcome back to another Master and Apprentice video and podcast. Today Athen is going to be in the video, but he's recording separately. He's going to edit himself in just because he's not here. But all that being said, as you guys can see from the title, thumbnail, all of that, we're going over Marvel Rivals again. Now they just had their 1 year anniversary, so the game's been out publicly for officially a year, 365 days. And you know, for the most part, me and Athen have played it since day one. I think we got it like that weekend that it came out. So pretty much for the full release, we've played it nonstop for the whole year. I mean, we've obviously not played it every single day. The last season, I think it was season 4 or 3, the season with Daredevil and Angela, that was the season I played the least. I think I only logged a couple hours in totality that season. But every other season, I played a lot in. Athen and me played a lot in. And so it'd be fun just to kind of go over one final review, because we gave an early review of the game, but a lot changes, especially with a live service game. A lot changes in a year. So we thought we'd give like a full review of the year, where the game's at, where it's going to go, what we like, what we didn't like. Probably won't do this again, you know, for a 2 year, 3 year. Not going to do it again for like that. But, you know, for the full year, I think for a live service game, I think it's fair to do something like that for this game, especially since we already gave it our first review and we've played it a lot since then. So all that being said, we'll get right into it. When this game first came out, it was I thought pretty I don't know what the best word is, but friendly, right? Like a lot, you could just kind of join in and it'd be, you know, join a public match. It'd be, I want to say easy, but friendly, right? It wasn't super competitive. It was, you know, fun for the most part. And you could get some competitive games every now and then, but if you really wanted to do competitive, you would just go to the ranked matches. And I don't really know when that changed, but it obviously kind of shifted when the game became more mainstream. It garnered a lot more attention, and you got a lot more of the competitive nature of gaming into this game. And at least from my point of view, it's hard to play any part of that game and not have it competitive. And I'd say that's probably one of the biggest things that's killing it right now. I don't think this game's dead. I don't think it's going to die anytime soon like that. But for sure, I think what was a huge draw for this game, it was its fun, goofy, you know, Marvel nature. But also just like it was fun. You can drop in with the friends. It was a public, friendly multiplayer game that you didn't have to worry about being too competitive, but if you wanted that, you could. But now you don't really have that option. And I think that's kind of an unfortunate route this game has taken. I don't think it's the game's fault per se. I just think that's just the style of game it is. It's a multiplayer versus game. You have one team versus one another. There's not really a lot of co-op. But kind of leading from that, we do have their PvE, which is like the one co-op thing they do have, the Marvel Zombies. I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of it. I don't think it's bad, but, you know, it's definitely not what this game is suited for, I'd say. It's fine. It's, you know, it's fun, I think, the first few times around, but once you've done it once or twice, there's not much new to offer. There's, you know, you can do it if you want the challenge, but I don't think there's much new content, something to drive you forward. Personally, for me, I think Athen's in the same boat for the most part with that. So when it comes to like the style of game, how long it will last, how it's changed, I do think this game, unless it has a huge fix, is going to eventually kill off a certain part of its population, just because it's pretty competitive right now. And when you have a game that's super competitive, it does divide a lot of your fans away, and I think it's kind of unfortunate, but it is what it is. I think that's just something I needed to state when talking about this game and kind of its life cycle so far. The content, I do think this game's content has been pretty great, like battle passes, the skins, the cosmetics, all that, the new maps, modes. You know, sometimes I think they could do more of the game modes. They haven't really done too much, but a lot of the new maps, all that stuff, I think they've done a really, really great job with that. It's, you know, kind of following that Fortnite formula of, like, if you want to garner money, make these skins interesting, make these cosmetics interesting, and people will buy them. And, you know, first and foremost, make the game fun, but, you know, don't monetize the gameplay, monetize the other stuff, like cosmetics. And I think they've done a really good job of that, because I never felt a need to buy anything, but I want to half the time, and I think they do a really good job of that. I enjoy a lot of the seasons. I like that they have their own spin on, like, grabbing stuff from comics and movies, but also just doing a lot of original stuff. And I like that they kind of have a mixture of all of that. I really think that's cool, and I like that they do that. That's something that I've liked since day one, but they've continued to do it. You know, I like that they had like the Null versus, or it was like the Null Queen in Black, so it was Hela versus Jean Grey and Blade, and I thought that was really cool. The Phoenix Force, like, that's not really a comic idea. That's something that's pretty original for the most part, and I thought that was really cool. And I like that they just kind of their own twist on things. But at the same time, you see a lot of these like comic accurate skins in the game, and I really enjoy it. I really enjoy the devs. I think out of all the live service games of recent, these guys are on top of this game, updating, trying to fix, trying to listen to the fans. Sometimes I think they do a little too much of anything, but that's not necessarily a bad thing to have. But I definitely like that the devs on this game are just constantly working on this game, trying to make it better, trying to make it for the fans, for the players, and I love that. That's something that will, I think, keep this game afloat for a while, at least for a little bit. Because as long as you've got some effort on one half, you'll have fans and players enjoy it and strive to make this game more fun. So that's kind of my opinion of the game. I don't know how much longer we'll cover it on the channel, but it's a game that I think, kind of like Fortnite, if you got into it at the beginning, I think it'll be a game a lot of fans and players will stick with. Unfortunately, because it's super competitive, it is going to be kind of a hard game to get into, I think, even now. Like, if you just try to jump into the game now, it's kind of hard to get into. I kind of had that problem with Overwatch. I never was an Overwatch player. I jumped into Overwatch kind of at the end of its life cycle, and I just felt like I didn't know what I was doing, how I was even supposed to compete or play with people. And I could definitely see that becoming a problem for this game. That's just my personal opinion. I know some fans won't agree with that, but that's just how I feel about it. But I don't know. The IP also definitely carries. I think Marvel, being attached to this game is also probably the best thing it has going for it. So there's that to mention as well. But all that being said, I still enjoy this game. It doesn't have that same magic it did, the first couple months this game was out. But I think, the devs, constantly putting in effort to make this game better, update it, I think will really help the game, its life cycle. I think a great inflow of new content, cosmetics, that's always going to help, right? If you don't leave your game to dry out, you leave a little bit of interest for new players and returning players, and that's just something that I always have. And then, to fix it, you've got to find more ways to make the game less competitive, right? To have that competitive space is awesome. I think that's great to have that. But making like public matches, in a way, I don't know how to do it. Maybe either loosen the skill-based matchmaking or tighten it even more. So I don't even know what the algorithm to fix that would be, but you got to make it so that you're not playing with people who are trying so hard. That's just my personal opinion. And a lot of my friends who play with me or play the game by themselves come to that same conclusion. And then the PvE, I think it's a good start. But if they want to get into that space, they've got to do a lot more, give a lot more content. I think that's pretty safe to say. So with all that being said, I'll let Athen finish off this video.
What's up, guys? Athen here. Just like to give my part of the Marvel Rivals review. It's been a year. I enjoy this game quite a lot. There are a few games that I play for a month and then let go and never touch again. There are some games that I come back to 2 weeks, a year. I feel like everyone has that, let's go play Minecraft for a week and then forget about my world once a year. Me and my friends do that every single year. It's a canon event, always happens. And then there are games that I go back to, and I just keep playing. There's no game that I will just consistently keep playing and never stop. But there are games where I'll play a month, take a month off, play for 2 months, take a month off. And Marvel Rivals is one of those games. Obviously, a lot can change because the game's so young. It's only a year old, but I'm basically going to be basing this review just off of that domination and convoy mode, because that is the bread and butter of Marvel Rivals as it stands 2025 December. That is Rivals. There is no debating that. And personally, I like the game a lot. This game can get old because there is just the 2 game modes, but they do a lot to spice it up. The seasons are very fast. I don't know what number season we are on. I want to say like 3 or 4, but the 0.5s really are updates. And I want to say, again, game is young, so I'm going to stop reiterating that, but the devs seem to really listen to the player base. The devs listen to the fan base. People want something, and they get it in the next update or the update after that. People want something and they're not going to get it, but the devs are going to apologize for it. One thing that I will say is we have a lot of duelists in this game, right? You have 3 classes. You got healers, you got attackers, and you got tanks. There's a lot of attackers, and then people started complaining, I want to say season 1.5, season 2, dang, we keep getting attackers. I wish we were getting more tanks, more healers. And the devs came out and apologized and said, hey, we got the next 5 characters lined up already. We can't change them. Most of them are going to be attackers. My bad, right? I mean, most of the games you will play, you're not going to get that response from the devs. You're not going to get any response from the devs. They're just going to ignore you and be like, you're playing our game, you're playing by our rules. But these devs seem to care. Cosmetics, that's how they make their money. This is a free-to-play game. You don't like this game, you can download it, try it, decide you don't like it, leave, never spend a dime. One of my favorite things about modern gaming in this day and age is free games that are live service, right? Because the game updates, the game gets new, the game changes. Not by a lot always, sometimes just little changes, but it's a free game. You don't have to pay if you don't want. I see certain things that I like in this game, certain skins that I like in this game. For example, Doctor Strange, he's my main. He pretty much has been since day 1 in Marvel Rivals, and they came out with his dead skin where he was the zombie version of Doctor Strange, kind of the risen from the dead Doctor Strange from the Multiverse of Madness movie, and it looked awesome. It was cool. I got the skin. I liked it. I love it. It's freaking fun as all can be. But on top of that, the player base complained, and they were like, dang, why do we get the normal Strange voice when he's a zombie, right? And guess what? Next update, they gave him his voice. They gave custom voices for most skins that would require a custom voice. And that's something small, something minor. Does it really matter? No. But it's the attention to detail and the dedication from the devs that just, I love it, right? I mean, when the devs are listening to the players, even if I'm not really fully enjoying the game, which I pretty much am most of the time, it's just so fun just to... It's something that excites me, right? You don't get a lot of games like Call of Duty. They'll do stuff that people don't like, people hate, and they'll never fix it. Madden, that game pisses me off. Every single year, they will have the same 5 problems. I think it's been since Madden 2018, where you will just be able to run out of bounds. It's supposed to stop the clock, doesn't stop the clock half the time for no reason whatsoever. That's a programming error. They refuse to fix it. It is well known. That just bugs me. That just gives me this tick that I hate, right? The devs can fix something that the players would all love. Nobody would complain if they fixed it. People would be extremely happy if they fixed it. But for whatever reason, they have not, and they will not fix that bug. Marvel Rivals fixes things, or explains why they don't fix things, or apologizes for not fixing things. It feels like the devs actually want you to have a good time. It doesn't feel like they're here to steal your money. They want you to have a good time. And to build a community around it, you're making the community like the devs. That's great. Now to the bad parts, right? If you have not played Marvel Rivals, there is a learning curve. And that learning curve comes with every single player, right? Every single character you pick, there's a learning curve. Some are a lot smaller than others. Squirrel Girl, you probably don't have to be awake to play. Doesn't mean she's not fun. She's still a fun character to play as. But other characters, such as Psylocke, such as the Invisible Woman, they're much harder to play as. And they are also great characters. Both of those are probably higher tier characters than some of the easier characters to play. However, if you're not good at a character and you attempt to play as that character, you're going to lose quite a few matches in a row because their matchmaking is going to put you up against pros. Sometimes, right? It's not always. It's a weird matchmaking system. I won't personally identify it because I don't know exactly how it works, but the term I keep seeing everywhere is engagement-based matchmaking. I can often see where I go and I try a new character out and I'm like, you know what would be great to try out? Psylocke, Mantis. 2 harder characters to play where you actually need to really think, really be skilled in playing as, and has a bit of a learning curve. But you try those out and you're not good at them immediately, you're gonna lose 3-4 games if you have a slow learning curve like I do. It takes me easily 5 games to get a hold of the character, to get the hang of the character. And even then, that doesn't mean I'm good. That just means I'm playing that character and it's acceptable. I mean, personally, that's one of the hardest things about this game is the competitiveness. You go to quick play, and there's a lot of pros that will go on quick play just because they want the easier matchup. And that just kind of bugs me, right? If you want to play competitive, go play competitive in competitive. And it just takes the fun out of it for me a bit. The community isn't great that way, and I think that's I mean, Sammy did build off of it. That's kind of how the community has to be for these types of games. These games are, you know, competitive hero-based games. This and Overwatch, you can't just jump into Overwatch. I know that game is pretty, not necessarily dead, but for all intents and purposes, close to, if not dead. But even towards the end of its life cycle, you could not just join in a match, right? You're going to make some dumb mistake, just like CSGO, like Rainbow Six Siege. You're going to do a ton of rookie mistakes for 5 days worth of games before you actually turn out to be an okay player. And like 5 long days, it's a long learning curve, and it is not friendly to new players. So that's a big problem that I see with the game. I don't love it, but it is what it is. There's no real way out of it because all the great players are playing quick play, right? If they would stay competitive, then yeah, quick play could be a lot more people that are just chill, hanging out, having fun. But I mean, oftentimes I'll see people leave matches in the middle of matches because they think they're gonna lose in quick play, and I'm like, my guy, just have some fun, right? Do some stupid stuff. Open a strange portal and try and trap players. You don't always have to be going out freaking out for the win. If it's a really close competitive game, it's awesome to be pushing for that. But I mean, if I'm playing competitive, I want to win. If I'm playing quick play, I can have some games where I lose and I played my best and I had fun, and I'm not sitting forward leaning in that ultra gaming position where I need to win, right? I feel like that balance is just gone in Marvel Rivals personally. I hopped on a couple games recently because I haven't played in a little bit, and I don't feel like a lot's changed, but they do add characters pretty consistently. There's a great lineup. It's fun. Marvel IP is awesome. I mean, they got a ton of characters they can pull from. The lore in Marvel Rivals, it's huge, right? I mean, they got comics just for Marvel Rivals, which isn't unique to their game, but it's another just cool thing to explore. It's expansive, and the lore is going to just keep getting bigger. We'll see where the game goes. I feel like they want to keep adding casual players, but it's just so hard to, especially kind of what they did with the Marvel Zombies mode, where you don't have to play up against other real people, so maybe it makes it a bit easier, so casual players will be learning those characters and then bringing that to multiplayer. But who am I to say? I mean, it's a fun game. It's awesome. It's a game I'm going to keep coming back to. Stop playing for 2 months, come back, play it for 2 more months. It's fun. It's definitely on my top games to play. What it does very well, and I cannot give them enough credit for listening to their player base. No video game does that at all, it feels like, and I just absolutely love that about them. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, hit that like and subscribe. Comment down below what you think of this game, what you guys think of this review, if you liked it, didn't like it, like the game, don't like the game. What is Marvel Rivals state now versus the very beginning, you know? I mean, I feel like it's a lot different, and I feel like competitiveness is just about the biggest difference there is, because I feel like it's just a chill game at the beginning, and then now it's kill, 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 and there's no real way around it. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and we will see you guys in the next one. Peace.